Greetings, Red Wolf Nation, and welcome to Inside IU East Sports. I'm Kyle Wright with the IU East Athletic Department, keeping the host chair warm, and we're so grateful that you've joined us. Men's soccer season is right around the corner, and here to introduce the IU East men's soccer team is the head coach of the Red Wolves, Steve Moore. So, Coach, thank you so much for taking time out of preseason to join us for a bit.
Always good to get in here.
Okay, well, before we look ahead to next year, let's look back ever so briefly at last year. Finished 10-10, reached the conference tournament semifinals. Quite a winning streak, I believe, 7 matches toward the end of the year.
Yep.
Maybe one or two of your favorite highlights from last year.
I think just probably the biggest one, just the turnaround that we were able to have. We dealt with a lot of adversity with players in and out and injuries and red cards, such that we were on a 7-game losing streak before things just clicked and they got going. And it was testament to the guys not giving in. I think that had we not started that 7-game winning streak a game later, we might not have made the playoffs at all. So just a testament to them battling and getting on that streak and not giving up and getting all the way. Getting to the playoffs is the second year in a row that we got matched up with Asbury, having to go to their place after having lost already in the year, and being able to go down there and get a win on the road was definitely a good feeling after the adversity that we had. So just the turnaround that we were able to have throughout the course of the year.
So obviously a lot of momentum coming into this year, a lot of talent, we believe. So what are you most looking forward to about the year that's about to happen?
I think that I think this is the most number of returners that we've had. So just the seniority, the experience that we bring back with us. We've still got another year before we'll have had guys for 4 years, but just things are running a lot smoother. Guys are picking up what we're wanting to do a lot quicker, and so just the momentum. Yeah, just trying to continue that momentum that we had last year into this year, so that it doesn't take us half the year for things to click. So it's been a good start so far.
Great. Well, we're going to go ahead and meet the team. We're going to learn about not only some of their soccer talents, but some of their off-the-field talents as well.
Sure.
So maybe some different questions than we've asked in past years. Let's start off. Who would you, if you had to pick one of your players to be in the broadcast booth, or maybe even sit in this chair for a broadcast, who on your roster would you pick for that role, and why?
Sure. Aaron Gibson would probably be the guy. I know he has been a business major. I know he's switched over just recently to communication, wants to be on this side of things, so I think that'd be right up his alley, and he'd fit in no problem.
And on the field, done a great job as a goalkeeper last 2 years as well.
Played a lot of minutes, gotten in a lot of games. He's one of those experienced players that we talk about.
Okay. Changing gears a little bit, you've gotten to know the guys pretty well. Any of them, or who would you trust to take care of the family pet in the Moore household?
So we've got 2 pets, 2 dogs, one big one, one little one. And Josh Powell and Ryan Maru would probably be the 2 guys. I know Josh, from getting to know him, has had dogs all his life. Ryan, interestingly enough, had pet ducks this past summer, which is not your normal pet, but I think that you do okay with the dogs too.
And briefly on the field, Josh, I know one of your keepers, and Ryan going to be our first chance to see him on the field this fall.
Yep. Josh will be slotting in as a goalkeeper, similar with Aaron's, played a lot of minutes, third-year player. Ryan trained with us all last year, so while he doesn't have the game experience, he's got the experience with what we're wanting to do, and so we look for him to play a role as well.
Okay. Again, shifting gears, literally in this case, you see the guys. They drive themselves to practice. They drive themselves to games. So you know who can handle the wheel and maybe who could use some more training. But with that in mind, who would you most trust to drive your own car?
Sure. Ethan Hunt and Lal Rin are probably the 2 guys that I'd pick. Both of them, I've had rental cars where I have a nice car, and I'm probably not the one to be trusted to drive a nice car, but both of those 2 guys do drive nice cars, and they still manage to seemingly keep it under the speed limit and keep things in control. So that's who I'd trust with my cars now.
And on the field, those are a couple newcomers. Very briefly, their on the field role.
Yep. Ethan is another goalkeeper. We're going through the goalkeepers early this year, but Ethan's a goalkeeper from just up the road in Pendleton Heights. Has showed well so far. So anxious to see what he does. Lal's not too not too much further up the road down in Indianapolis. And we'll see. He's kind of a utility player. We've played him a little bit as an outside back, a little bit as an outside mid, so he could see time a couple different spots.
Okay. Quite a few business majors, finance concentration folks on your team. So is anyone out of that group you'd trust to balance your checkbook?
Yeah, I had a lot of choices with this one. Cole Fosbrink's probably the guy. He is from also another Indiana native down in Seymour. Finance majors already, I know, starting to work with Tim Scales with doing some things finance-wise that way. So on the field, he's an outside back. He's shown really well for us early on with, like I say, not a lot of experience already at the college level, but he's shown really well, and he could be someone that's knocking on the door for time, even his first year.
Okay. More of a soccer-related question this time. Most accurate right foot, who would you say?
Probably either Nate Dove or Brandon Bates. Brandon plays out on the wing for us, and he is a guy that if you give him time, he can place the ball awfully well. Nate Dove has kind of played all over for us. Maybe he hasn't. I know he hasn't played in goal. Maybe he hasn't played it forward. But other than that, he's played all over the place for us, and just we can use him anywhere, and just is spot on the right side for sure.
You've done a lot of fun things in the preseason, so you've got to see some of their off-the-field skills, maybe including cooking. So, from what you've seen, who would you trust to cook a good meal for the Moore household?
Sure. With guys living off campus, that's something that we have to talk with them about and get them ready for having to cook on their own. And I know both Brian Alvarez and Santiago Barragan both talked about how their moms made them cook growing up, and so if they had to be cooking for me, or if I'd trust them to cook me a good meal for sure.
Okay. Both newcomers quickly their role on the field this year.
So Brian's coming from Kansas, played as a winger at Dodge City Community College, and has shown well so far. He'll be definitely in the mix for playing for us out on the wing. And Santiago has kind of played everywhere. Played as a forward at the junior college level, played at West Hills out in California, played as a center back. We've got him playing kind of as a defensive mid, and he's just similar to Nate Dove in that he can play a lot of different spots. He's got just good tools that he can use, and they translate to a lot of different spots. And so we see him seeing a lot of minutes as well.
See a lot of the guys playing video games on various spots around campus. If you threw a video game tournament, who's going to win it?
Sure. I would probably pick any number of different guys to do this. Even going back to my day, hey, college is for going to class, maybe playing sports, but also playing video games. And Joao de Lima plays quite a bit of them. We've come down to the VR lab here in Hayes, and he tends to do quite well. The last 2 summers he's been on campus for the most part, and I think that the guys joke that he camped out in the VR room and just was playing games all summer long. So he'd be the one that I'd put my money on.
Okay. Back to soccer question. Biggest throw-in of the match. Who do you want taking it?
Sure. Probably not who we would think. Trevor Lenke, big guy that normally you might like to have in the box when you're throwing the ball in, but he throws it as far as anybody. We just had a scrimmage this last weekend, and he's throwing the ball in, getting halfway into the goal. So it's definitely an advantage, something that we can use him for.
And I'm sure thrilled to have him back. Your leading scorer 2 years ago, then missed a year with the knee. So ecstatic to have him back, I'm sure.
Yep. He's still getting fit a little bit, but definitely physically is a load to deal with up front. And even not being fit, hey, there's times where we can get him out on the field, and as that fitness comes, be even more beneficial for us for sure.
Okay. Different type of question. Let's say you got caught in the wilderness for who knows what reason, but who do you trust to guide you back to safety?
Sure. Tyler Fox is my guy. He is a criminal justice major, which doesn't necessarily translate, but I know he does a lot of camping with his family. I know he's talked about using that criminal justice to be kind of a park ranger type of a guy, and so being out in the wilderness. So I trust that he would be able to get me where I needed to go if I got lost out there.
And he's carved himself a nice little niche on the team itself as well.
Yeah, he's another one of those guys that's been here. This is his 3rd year. He's come a long ways. 2 years in a row, he's been voted most improved player on the team by the guys. Plays as an outside back, saw quite an uptick in terms of minutes last year, and has, like you said, kind of really carved himself a niche there, and is competitive for time for us for sure.
Okay. I know at the end of each year you put on a nice team banquet. If you turned it over to the guys, who would you trust to organize that team banquet?
Probably would say Danny Sims or Nolan Everts. To one guy, Danny being a junior, Nolan being a freshman, but both of those guys are probably as organized as any of the guys on our team with regards to whether it be class or turning in gear or being on time for things. And man, putting that banquet together, it's a lot of fun, but it also is a lot of details and organization and this kind of thing. And I think both of those guys would excel doing something like that. So.
And on the field, Danny's been part of for the last 2 years. Nolan's a new guy. Their role on the field.
Yep, Danny's. We toyed with playing him a little bit as an attacking mid this spring. Some out of necessity with numbers, some out of just trying to see him at a different spot. So he'll maybe be playing in there. Probably more likely playing out on the wing still for us. Nolan, we're still kind of figuring out where he's going to be best. I know he played coming out of high school and club soccer. Played a little defender. Played a little bit in the midfield, and he could do. We see him as a wide player right now, whether that's as a winger, whether that's as an outside back. That's where we see him right now, but that's not necessarily his final end spot.
Okay. Team-wide 100-meter dash, who wins it?
Sure. Dumi Kumwenda, probably hands down fastest guy on the team. Has played for us. He's in his senior year, transferred in. He's played for 3 years as a center back, and he covers up a lot of mistakes with that speed that he has on the back line. Can just track guys down. There's not a lot of guys that he's not able. Even if he gets beat, there's not a lot of guys he can't catch up with, which is a good thing to have back there.
Okay, and wrapping up the first half of the roster, question is best post-goal celebration. I know we've seen some good ones from Dumi.
Sure.
Anyone that's in his category on those?
Yep, Dumi would be in that boat, and as well as incoming freshman Gustavo Ferrari. Dumi, again, takes a lot of our penalty kicks and is kind of, I don't want to say patented, but he's doing a flip every time he scores a goal. And Gustavo, I don't want to put him into that category that he's got to be doing a flip. But both of them are emotional guys, excitable guys that I expect that when Gustavo scores his first goal, we're gonna see something fun and enjoyable.
All right, well, we look forward to that. So we've met the first half of the IU East men's soccer roster for 2019. We'll meet the second half of the roster when we come back on Inside IU East Sports.
What can I do for you today?
My throat's been hurting all day and I have class in an hour.
Okay, let's get you feeling better.
Receive quality care without the wait. Read Health Now, right beside you.
Hi, how can I help you?
My daughter has a fever and she isn't feeling well.
Okay, let's get her feeling better.
Receive quality care within the comfort of your own home. Read Health Now, right beside you.
I have had the pleasure of taking care of probably 35,000 cataract patients. It really is meaningful to people. It changes their lives. It gives them back things that they hold dear. It seems like you can't do anything without proper banking help. I've had a very good experience working with First Bank. You have people that you know and you grow a relationship with. I just have the confidence that the banking part of it will be okay.
And welcome back to Inside IU Sports. We are meeting the 2019 IU East men's soccer team, learning a little bit about their on-the-field talents and some of their off-the-field skills with Coach Steve Moore. So, Coach, we've already met the first half of the roster somewhat numerically. Let's meet the second half. So, starting off, if you were going to trust one of the guys to give the pregame motivational talk in your place, who would you pick to do that?
Sure. Probably Liam Healy, hands down. Liam's another third-year guy, been with us the whole time. He's fiery, he's emotional. No question he'd be able to get the guys motivated, and often does. Even before I step into the huddle, he's one of the ones that's hyping people up. That's a role that fits him to a T.
Okay. And kind of does that on the field for you as well.
Yep. Very, very vocal presence. Plays in the back line for us. Does a good job. Probably as good as anybody on our back line in terms of communication and organizing things for us.
Okay. This next question, I asked your counterpart on the women's team, Coach Meredith, who he would trust to mow the field before the match, and he's like, do not touch my field. So the fact that you're willing to have someone do this maybe is a bit of a compliment.
Sure.
But who would you trust to prepare the field or mow the field for a match?
Yep. So we, as a team, we got our training field put together a couple weeks before we started, and Randy Bentoncourt was tasked with lining the field, and took forever, but was incredibly meticulous about it. And so I guess I don't know that would translate to mowing the field, but if I would think that it might, just being very meticulous about getting it the right length and the right cut and all that kind of thing. So yeah, he'd be the guy.
And he accomplished big things in his high school career. What things are you looking to for him to bring to IU?
Yeah, so he's big, tall. I guess I should say not big, wide, but tall guy. Plays up top. Manages to find the ball in good spots. He has had a couple of really good looks just in the two scrimmages that we've had. So the future's bright for him. He's a different kind of forward than we've had the last couple of years, and that he doesn't necessarily have to have the ball on his foot a lot to be successful. But I see him being somebody that's going to score a number of goals for us over the course of the next few years.
Okay. I already asked you the most accurate right foot, so we'll flip it around. Most accurate left foot out of the
Sure. Probably one of two guys. We might be able to expand it a little bit more. We don't have a ton of left-footed guys, and so the field was small thinking about this one. But probably Montel James or Stephen Hlun. Montel plays as typically a left-sided winger for us, and is gonna. He's had a lot of success coming in as a junior college player, playing for different levels of the Dominican national team. But he's solid playing on that left side. And then Steven is an incoming freshman for us, coming from, again, just down the road in Indianapolis at Perry Meridian. And he's good quality on his left side as well. He plays more centrally for us, and I see him. We've seen him. His game's definitely ticked up a bit just being here with the higher level of competition. We see him being a player that's going to contribute for us right away, too.
Okay. An academics type question. If need someone to write a term paper and you've got to have them get an A on it, who do you pick to write that?
Sure. We got a couple guys that have done really well academically, so this was a tough one. Alex Palable, though, probably is the guy. He transferred in last semester, plays centrally for us on the field. I think he's a 4.0 student, both in his time at Earlham before here and then as well this past semester, so he's probably the guy that I think would do the best for us there.
Okay. 30 seconds left. You're down 1 goal. You've got a free kick from 30 yards out. Who takes it?
Sure. Probably Fitz Jolly, and he's former teammates with Montel James at the junior college. Very quality player, and I think that we could trust him, whether it's on the right side, left side. He's both-footed. He could put a ball on a dime and give us a good chance to be successful there.
I look forward to seeing him in his first year this season. Not that we have a lot of contract negotiations here at IU East, but if you were going into a contract negotiation, who would you trust to kind of be your agent on your behalf?
Sure. Another guy that's new to the program, Pedro Ferro, transferred in again last spring, so was able to be with us all spring long. Got a lot of experience with what we're wanting to do. does incredibly well academically, is in that business area, and hopefully, I don't know how great of an arguer he is. I don't see that a lot, which is a good thing, but I think that he would do a good job with negotiating a good contract.
Hopefully it never comes to this, but if it was ever needed, a non-traditional keeper that you would trust to play keeper or pick to play keeper, who are some guys who could do that?
Sure. Probably one of two guys. As I think about a keeper, I'd like someone not to be short and to be fairly athletic, and so Hassan Abdallah or probably Michael Hall. No idea if they'd really be any good, but they're both bigger, athletic guys, move well, can jump well. So I think, hey, they've got at least some tools that, maybe they wouldn't want to be jumping in front of a ball, getting blasted at them, but at least physically they've got some tools that could translate well, I think.
And as far as their proverbial day jobs in their normal positions
Yep,
on the field,
yep.
talk about that a little bit.
Hassan played out wide for us last year in his first year, played some winger, played some outside back. We see him probably transitioning more into an outside back role almost exclusively. He's showed pretty well so far this season. And Michael, similar to Trevor, played the first year. I think he was the second leading goal scorer for us that year before taking last year off, and he's looking good out on the wing again this year, and so we're excited for getting him back and hopefully getting some more goals from him.
Right. As we mentioned, you've done a lot in the preseason, so this next question, I don't think it's going to be a guess, but if you threw a bowling tournament, or maybe you have, who's going to win it?
Yeah, so we actually did go bowling. I think this was the first week, and Gavin Miller was, we only got one full game in, got about half of the other game in, but Gavin was leading the way. Bowled a 160 something, and so not too bad. I don't know if he's getting picked up by many college bowling teams, but at least on our team, best guy out there. So.
And his soccer role in his freshman season.
Yep. So Gavin's got some good size. He's adjusting to the speed of play at the college level after coming in from high school. That's usually the biggest thing that everybody deals with, is just it's faster and guys are bigger and stronger and things that happen quicker. But he's a guy that we see having a future playing in the central midfield for us. You can definitely similar with some of the other guys. You can see it coming. It's just a process, but we see him playing kind of a defensive midfield role for us.
Okay. Let's say it's game day. Let's say we're out at Centerville High School. Let's say the sound system goes kablooey during introductions. Who do you trust to sing the national anthem?
Yeah, so we have call it a tradition on our team, I guess. If somebody leaves something at practice or leaves it on a bus, and the coaches have to pick it up, the way that they get it back is they've got to sing for the team. So we've had quite a few guys over 2 years sing, and Matt Fledes gave us quite a rendition of Hotel California last year, and so I can only imagine how the national anthem would be if he were singing. So he'd be my guy.
Right. And quite a contributor on the field in the late stages of last year as well.
Yep. So Matt played center back for us all of last year. Matt is the fittest guy on our team. 2 years in a row, he's won our fitness test, running away. So no question there. Very intense, very hard-nosed. We may see him playing some center back. We may see him playing some outside back. But he definitely will be one that we look for to contribute quite a bit for us this year.
Okay. Soccer question. Biggest corner kick of the match. Who do you want taking it?
Yep. Probably one of our new guys, Alex Izaga. Came in from Central Methodist, won the national championship last year. Traditionally a left-footed player, and so he's a bigger guy. So again, kind of like with Trevor with the throw-ins, you may not expect him to be out there serving the ball in, but he's very quality with his left foot, and so we'll see him take a lot of our right-sided corners, and he does a good job with putting a dangerous ball in the box for us.
Okay. If you had a chance to send someone on Jeopardy, maybe the proceeds go to benefit IU East men's soccer, but who do you send to play that Jeopardy game?
Sure.
Then?
So we, another one of our preseason team activities, we have trivia night, and it's done in groups, so I guess I can't completely chalk all of the answers up to this one guy, but Jacob Huber his team won, and it seemed like he was doing a bit of the talking, bit of the answers. I know he's did really well academically coming out of high school too. So he'd be the guy that we'd trust.
Okay, and another one of your freshmen, his
Yep.
on-field role for this year.
Yep. Another one of our goalkeepers, I guess our last goalkeeper in the bunch. Yeah, he's shown well. He's a workout beast. I know he spent a lot of time working and lifting this summer to be physically ready. Similarly with some of the other freshmen, just the speed of play with how things we want to be done quicker. That's the adjustment for him, but he's shown really well, and I think that he's got a bright future for us as well.
Okay. Last question. If you had to trust one of the guys to design the team uniforms, who would you entrust with that task?
Sure. Another no-brainer. Dalen Troutman is I think technically it's a fine arts major, but he's big into the graphic design stuff. He's done some designs logo-wise for us in the past, and so he'd be, no question, the guy that I'd entrust to come up with some designs for us.
All right, Coach, well, I think that covers everyone. So it's fun to hear some of their on-the-field and
Yeah.
off-the-field talents as well.
Yep. Awesome.
All right, so it all starts on August 24th at 5 p.m. as the Red Wolves will take on Shawnee State at Centerville High School. You can check out the full schedule for the IU East men's soccer team at iueredwolves.com. This has been Inside IUE Sports. I'm your host, Kyle Wright. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you next time.